Hello and welcome. And this is another fun Friday. I'm the Reverend David Dunlap, the first minister of First Presbyterian Church, and I'm buried directly opposite where we are now in that corner over there. But we're in this little corner, and I have the Venerable Howe with me.
Good to be here.
This section of our churchyard is called the Stanley Plot.
Yes, it is.
Because with us today was a Stanley, but you died as Mary Hillegas.
I did. Thank you for having me here today. It's lovely gentlemen of the cloth. I'm big fans.
Now, you were said to be, you used to own this entire plot.
I did. It's a point of contention. We don't need to get into it, but maybe a little later.
Now, word has it, and I can believe it, that you were one of the prettiest women, certainly that this church ever saw, but that Columbia ever saw.
Well, I haven't met every female in the past 200 years, so yes, you're correct.
Now, give me your dates.
My date's 758 to...
We're not sure.
We're not sure. 90 or 100, you lose count.
The gravestone says she died when she was 90, but there are stories out there that she may have lived to 100 years old and would be probably the oldest person buried in our churchyard. Now, you had a somewhat colorful life.
I did, and that is a kind way for you to put that. Thank you, sir.
Well, you know, I'm a minister, and the Venerable Howe, have I introduced you yet?
Yes, you did.
Okay, the Venerable Howe is here. We want to know about the 4 marriages.
The 4, was it the 4? Did I make a basketball team or was it the 4? It was the 4, you're correct. Well, the first 2 lovely gentlemen, Dr. Hendrick and Mr. Howe, were
Revolutionary War
yes,
heroes.
They were fine gentlemen. Then we get to lucky number 3. Third time's a charm, not so much. His name was Cheston. Odd name, odd man. Spent a lot of my money.
Took your money.
He did.
You
I could
spent
tell
it
you some
all,
stories.
from what I understand.
He
You
did.
had to open, well, let's call it a boarding house.
A boarding house, that's what it was, among other things.
We won't
It
go
was,
there.
it was a boarding house. It really was a boarding house.
And then
There could have been a tavern attached.
and the tavern.
Could have been.
Yes.
forget.
We said this was a colorful story. And then there was a number 4.
There was. Oh,
By the way, before we talk about number 4, where are all these husbands? Because they're not here.
wouldn't you like
dispose
to
of
know?
them?
Well, did I dispose of
Well.
them? Oh, yeah, I was alive, so it was my choice. Well, we'll keep that between me and the 4.
Let's talk about the 4th husband.
The 4th, William. Dear sweet William. He was what you would call now a hoarder, but we called him a collector then. So he loved going to auction houses and bidding on books and tables and plates. We had 300 plates, and he would store it up in the attic. But do you know what I would do?
Tell us.
I would send him on an errand or 7, and I would gather up all the things, and I would take them right back to the auction house, which they stayed there. In theory, do you know what happened, Mr. Howe?
Tell us.
Mr. Dunlap?
It's Dr. Howe and Dr. Dunlap, but that's okay.
I'm so sorry. Where have my manners gone? I've been gone a long time. I forget how things run. All right, well, he would buy them again from whence I left and put them back in the attic, and I would come home to everything back. It was like a hoarding house fairy, but it was my husband.
How extraordinary. Now, after
Not the word
after
I would
the-
use.
After the demise of the 4th, there wasn't a 5th. What happened?
Well, it was a bit of an accident. Don't really like to talk about it, but this is the first time I've been interviewed in 175 years, so I might as well talk about it now. I was in an accident. I was thrown from a carriage, and I broke my nose, and I dislocated my collarbone on this side. But you know, after 150 years, my nose might look more interesting. But then it didn't. And so I gave up matrimony and said I wasn't pretty enough.
Oh, well, that's tragic.
Very. Worst thing that ever happened in the history of women.
There you have it. Mary Hillegas, one of the most colorful ladies buried here in our churchyard. We'll see you next week.
We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, and you want to make sure you get all of our content, not just videos, but podcasts and ministry updates, make sure you download our app. If you think you might have missed a video, click on our YouTube channel. A link should be down below. There you can see all of our videos, and if you want to make sure you don't miss anything in the future, hit subscribe. If you want to be one of the first ones to know when we release a video, hit that little bell icon. And if this video has blessed you and you can think of someone else that it might help, use that share icon and send it to them. All, of course, for the edification of God's people and the glory of His name. Until next time, God bless.